What's up, guys? Welcome back to another 4-0 Gaming Destiny 2 video. Today I have for you this week's Grandmaster Nightfall, the Festering Core. And all I have to say is, fuck my life, okay? This Nightfall is ridiculous, okay? It takes forever. This might be actually the first Nightfall, or the first Grandmaster Nightfall, rather, that has taken us into the darkness, where the darkness is encroached in, and we've lost all of our lives, okay? It lets you know around 35 minutes, for those of you who don't know, that you're going to lose your lives soon at the 45-minute mark, and once that 45-minute mark hits, you lose everything. If someone dies, you can't revive them. This Nightfall sucks, okay? It is pretty brutal, and it's not that it's ridiculously hard. I mean, the boss fight is a little tough, but it just takes forever to get to the boss room, and by the time you get there, you know, you're pretty much out of time. This one did take us a couple runs, but if you do watch my video, we found some great spots for you to hide. There's some areas where you and your teammates can kind of split up, and some places where you can rotate around the map, okay? We're going to focus mostly on the places you should hide during the major encounters, and I'm going to do a full breakdown of the boss video because that is pretty insane. But if you follow my tips and tricks, follow this guide, I have faith that you're going to make it through, okay? If I can do it, you can do it, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. And if this video helps you out, make sure to drop a thumbs up, hit a subscribe button, caress that bell, and let's get started. Alright guys, so as always, we're going to start out checking out this week's modifiers. First off, we have Epitaph. Taken combatants generate blight geysers when defeated. So when you kill a taken combatant, it is going to drop a boop on the ground, which is kind of a pain in the ass, so just take your time and make sure you don't run over those. We have Unstoppable Champions, Overload Champions, and Barisk's Breach. Void damage is increased, and knockback damage and distance increased. So this week's, you know, not too crazy. That increased void damage is going to be a pain in the ass. So as always, I do recommend that you put on void resistance mods, okay? Get as many of these bad boys on as you can. I think I rocked one of them. Another thing that you're going to want to put on, if you have this, you get this from the Last Wish raid from opening chest, is Taken Barrier. Receiving taken damage gives a 20% reduction in damage for 10 seconds. This is pretty huge. Other than that, your typical minor, major, and boss resist. Actually, I ran 2 majors this time. I didn't run a boss resist, so pardon me on that one. And as always, special finisher and charge with light if you have it. Protective light is always my go-to, so make sure you check out my protective light build, which is also on the YouTube channel if you want some help with that. So as I said before, Unstoppable and Overload. So I ran both Unstoppable and Overload on my Divinity. There are all 3 shields this week, so you see I'm rocking a rainbow. I have the Void subclass, Arc with my Divinity, and Solar with my Avalanche. Another big move is to put a Taken spec on your heavy, increased damage against Taken enemies. This helps tremendously against lower red bar enemies and also major yellow bar enemies. I didn't really use this on the boss at all, but taking down captains with solar shields, this is going to be huge. And also there's some solar shield knights in the boss fight. There are a lot of arc shields as well, and not too many void shields. But there are all 3. So my team, one guy ran a Void Pulse Rifle with Unstoppable and a Arc Wendigo, and my other teammate ran an Overload Sidearm with a Hammerhead. So all the shield types covered. We did run 2 Wells, 1 Tether, the Izanagi, and Divinity combination as always. Alright guys, so one of the main things we're going to talk about before we actually get into the breakdown of each encounter is how these Cyclopses work. It took my team a minute to figure out how they work. What they're going to do is they're going to ensnare you, and you're going to have a little buff in the bottom of your screen letting you know how far along that progress is. Once that buff hits 0, if your feet are on the ground, you will die. So as you can see here, me and my teammates, we just jump around as soon as we get ensnared, and no big deal. Other than that, this strike is very straightforward like most Grandmaster Nightfalls are. You're just going to take your time, move slowly, kill those champions. If you do a good job of all of that, you should be able to enter the final boss room with about 15 to 20 revives left. Hopefully you know, won't need to use those in that final boss room. I recommend not dying at all in that room because it does get hectic, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. So moving on to this first encounter here, the best place to hide is behind this rock, okay? This is going to be your main source for cover. You can rotate wells here. You're going to use tethers and kill all the champions from right behind this rock. You may have to go down and jump on those plates to start encounters, but other than that, you're just going to chill up here and everything is going to be just fine. Now, once we've killed all of these champions, the way to progress through this encounter is you're going to go jump on that red plate right there. And once you stand on that plate, you're going to be able to shoot these little boxes. There will be 4 boxes in this first room. Once you've killed all of the 2 on this plate, you're going to run down to the plate in front of you, step on that one, kill those next 2 boxes, and then progress to the next encounter. Now, on this part is probably going to take the longest of any encounter in this strike, only because there are these little red walls that will come at you, and they will hit you with a chain lightning style buff. You will have void shields, solar shields on this, and there will be a ton of champions. So this part is just really important that you take your time. Rushing through this, you know, you see those Cyclopses are up there as well. So just make sure you're coordinating the champions, taking out the Cyclopses, using your tethers, your wells the entire way, and just chunk through this. Don't try to rush it because it could end in big failure for your team. So once you get through this, though, you're almost through it. Okay, this part probably is going to take you about 10 minutes to get through, but you can do it. Okay, so just keep on trucking, and you can make it through. Once you get through that little bridge area, you're going to come up to this room with two champions, 2 unstoppable champions. What my team did, which we found worked best, is we kept 2 guys up top there. One guy had an unstoppable pulse rifle, and I had my unstoppable pulse rifle down here, and we're just able to chunk these champions down and just kind of hit them from different angles. You're going to want to take down that Cyclops that you saw up there right away because that will entrap you. Those are very deadly, like I've said before. So just go ahead, stop these champions one at a time, and you want to make sure that as soon as they start pushing in, you're going to want to back up. You don't want to have them chase you around. But luckily your teammates are up above you, and so they kind of get confused and they won't really chase any individual person. Once you've killed both of these champions, a group of ads is going to spawn here along with a boss in the back corner and another champion. So just start taking out these ogres, take out these scions. You need to take those scions out pretty quickly because they will multiply and it can become kind of a pain in the ass. There's Jurog, the boss right there, and there is an overload champion up there. So rotate those wells, get as close as possible. You can see I popped my tether here, and we pretty much just wipe that area out. Those walls will be coming at you, those red walls I was speaking about earlier, and like I said, they will kill you. They kind of hit you with a chain lightning type of effect, and those are pretty deadly as well. So on this next part, we're going to jump up here and spawn the ads, but instead of going around that corner, we're going to just fall back. There are 2 unstoppables and 2 big minotaurs that you're going to have to kill here. If you run up into this area, it will be a death trap because both of those unstoppables will directly target you. And the minotaurs, those taken minotaurs, they're invisible. And they also shoot void singe, and since you do have an increased void damage this week, those minotaurs can be quite deadly. So no rush though, this is a good place. As you can see, we got a couple of finishers here, and you're going to need those because you're going to need some ammo going into this final boss phase here. So we're going to start this. When we get in this room, there is going to be a bunch of ads. You're just going to clear those out. There is no rush. You can see we're getting close to the 35-minute mark. So we know that we're going to have to kind of rush this last encounter. This strike is just so long that it's impossible to do quickly. So we're going to drop these wells and start chunking down the boss here. So when fighting this boss, the boss will go immune in thirds, but in between those immunes there are going to be spawns that are going to come in. So you're just going to need to take those out, and there's really no rush. As long as you're down in this kind of, I don't know what you would call it, like an alleyway maybe, you're pretty safe. There are some champions that might come down there, but you're going to be aware, you're going to know that they're there. And you can see this overload comes in right away, and we're quick to take him out. In between these immune phases, there are going to be those Cyclopses, so just take those down. Like I said earlier, those are going to be the main thing that are going to wipe you. The champions, you can see them from a distance. We rotated across the map on this second wave of ads because they spawn in actually where we were hanging out in that little alleyway. So we're going to start the fight from that little alleyway, rotate over to this little, I don't know what you want to call it. We kind of take the high ground so we can hit the champions, but there is a lot of protection. Then once we get to the end, we're going to rotate back around to that little alleyway, and we can really finish the boss off here. I know, me saying it kind of makes it seem like it's not that difficult. You are going to have to coordinate with your team. Really make sure you're dropping your wells and hitting tethers on those groups of ads. But if you can manage that, a well-organized team can get this done. I would recommend practicing this one on a 1080 Nightfall just to kind of get those ad spawns down. When this was in rotation last time before the Grandmasters, there was a bug, so nobody really got to practice it. So get some practice in, get in here, and get it knocked out. Alright guys, so that's it for today. I hope this video has helped you out. Like I said before, it did take my team a couple runs to get this nailed down. That boss room sure is a pain in the ass, but like I said before, I know you can do it, okay? If my team can do it, your team can do it. Just take your time. This is not like, some Nightfalls you need to hurry up and get through and kill as quickly as possible. This one you just want to take nice and slow, and you actually have to think about it a lot. I mean, as much as a pain in the ass this Nightfall is, you're going to have to be an intellectual heavyweight today, okay? You're going to have to give them the whole wagon. So thanks again for watching. I hope this helped you out. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, do all that good shit, and we'll catch you later. Peace.